Hey everyone, this is Bill Krieger from the Veterans Archives podcast, where we preserve and share the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Really, anywhere you choose to get your podcast, you should be able to find us. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on social media to help us reach more veterans and supporters. We are a nonprofit, and this service is completely free for veterans. Every story matters, and every voice deserves to be heard. Spread the word, honor our heroes, and join us on this mission. Follow, share, and tune in, because their story should never be forgotten. Learn more at veteransarchives.org. We'll see you there. Today is January 15th, 2026. We're speaking with Darrel Johnikins, who served in the United States Army. So good afternoon, Daryl.
Good afternoon.
All right. We'll start out real simple. When and where were you born?
I was born in Monroe, Louisiana.
Now, where is that near?
It's close to about 45 minutes, hour and a half from Shreveport. Everybody knows Shreveport.
Yeah.
East of Shreveport.
I've got, some of my relatives came from Hattiesburg area. So
I know where Hattiesburg is at.
Just curious. Down by Camp Shelby, I think, right in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So did you grow up there in Monroe then?
Well, I grew up a little further east. It's called a small town called Lake Providence.
Okay.
And I really grew up between there and Fort Worth. My mom bouncing back and forth. But I actually graduated from Lake Providence Senior High before the school burned down.
Oh, good thing you got out of there before that happened.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So do you have brothers and sisters?
Oh, yes. I have 7 brothers and 2 sisters. One of my brother passed away back in 2004. So it's 6 boys and 2 girls. I'm like roughly around, you can say, the middle.
Uh-huh.
And it's like for us growing up, it was like, a couple of my brothers and sister were older than me, so they was out the house, but it was me, a couple of my little brother and a sister and an older brother. So like about 5 of us and a 2-bedroom trailer. So it was like that for a minute, during the winter time, mom turned on the oven to heat it up and stuff. And once the house got heated, everybody needed to get their butt in the bed, and the first one up, turned on and to get things started and everything. So the weird part about it is that people say that you don't know that you are living different until you move.
Right.
And so I graduated high school in 1990, and I went straight into the military on a delayed entry, and just going to a couple of different places. I had to sit back, and I was like, man, we was really poor.
Yeah. Yeah, you
But
don't know it though.
when everybody around you living the same way, you don't see that. But when you actually move out of that area and see how other people live, and it's like, oh crap. Oh, so there is different things out there like that. So that was like an eye opener and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a good childhood though, right? I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
Really no father figure, never around. But I had some strong uncles and my aunt that taught me some values that I instilled in my kids today. That no, I never wanted for really anything. So it was a blessing. I really had a good childhood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing too, because I know how I grew up, and you're right. You don't know, it's not, it's different. It's different. It's not bad, right? Like to,
Right.
to grow up to grow up without having a lot of things isn't a bad thing necessarily.
No, it's just the simple things make you happy. It's so weird.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you graduated high school and you went right into the military. Why the Army? Why the military?
To be honest, I was trying to get out of a class I didn't want to take, and so they had the recruiters in, testing, And just so
Uh-huh.
happened I passed the test and I was like, oh crap, I ain't got nothing else going on. I may as well give this a try. But just behold, it was a blessing to get me out of my situation, to give me a leg up on pretty much changing my life, for the good.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're 18 and you're headed off to boot camp.
Yep.
Tell me what was it like stepping off that bus the very first few minutes that you're there?
Oh my God, my heart was like in my throat. And the minute someone jump into your face, your heart beating, and then I'm telling myself, don't say nothing. You just listen to them, do what they say, no matter what, just do it. It was just like it was a shell shock, big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Was there any point in that first couple of days where you're like rethinking your decision making?
Oh yeah, it made me yeah. Of course, there was a few days like, man, why am I even doing this crap? But then I also know it's like, hey, you agreed to this, you're gonna see it through.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you raise your right hand, you're
Yeah,
in.
and that was some part of the things that growing up, if they that my mom and they're telling me that if you say you're gonna do something, you make sure you follow through with it.
Yeah. And that's probably like in the back of your head the whole time, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And once I got through basic and things started to get easier, it was starting to become more enjoyable.
Yeah. Now, where'd you take your basic at?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Oh, okay. All right. I've been there.
Yes, they call it Fort Lost in the Woods.
Yes, they do for good reason.
Oh yeah, big time. And then like after my AIT, I mean after basic, I went to AIT at Fort Bliss. That's where
Uh-huh.
air defense your training is in Fort Bliss.
Okay. So your MOS was air defense?
Yep.
Okay. And was that something you thought about and chose, or they just kind of said, "Hey, here you go, Daryl, you're going to be air defense."
No, they was like, hey, this is your option right here. Cause granted, it was on a whim. I didn't score the highest I could have because I wasn't going in there to try to pass. So I think it was like air defense, infantry, and something else. And I was like, ooh, shooting missiles off my shoulder. That seemed to be pretty cool. I'm gonna go that route. And so
Yeah.
yeah, and that's why I went that way.
Yeah, that's how they get us.
Oh yeah,
For
oh
sure.
yeah. You can shoot enemy aircrafts out the sky and enemy tanks, making they pumping it up like it's the best thing ever.
Oh, yeah. Well, so tell me a little bit more. I want to back up just a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about basic training, and did you make some friends there? Do you still keep in contact with any of those folks?
Well,
Is
in
is there
basic
anything?
training, a lot of the people I met, I really didn't keep contact with. The
Mhm.
ones that really stuck was the couple of guys that I met in AIT, which was Cedric Davis and Carl Hickerson, which
Uh-huh.
who are my friends to this day. We're like brothers from another mother. And
Yeah.
those are what were two of my the first good friends that I met. And so happened when we clicked in the AIT. Davis went to airborne school, and me and Hickerson we graduated and we went to Fort Carson,
Okay.
where
Is there
Davis
any
came later.
is there anything about that time that like sticks out in your mind? Like if you think back to boot camp, AIT, like is there any certain part of that you like really kind of sticks out or that you think about?
The coolest part of basic was that at the time my aunt she was in. And just so happened she was stationed in Missouri at the time, and she was E6. And like one of the weekends that we had off, I was able to go to her house and eat with her for a day and go back to the barracks. So that was pretty cool.
Was it tough like having that day of civilian life knowing that you got to go
Oh,
back?
absolutely. It's like it was torture. It's like, man, why do you even do this to yourself? But it's not like they smoked me once I got back. I kind of like got back and kind of went straight into training. But the ideal of like, okay, I want to be like that. I can't wait till this over so I get to that part. And of course,
Yeah,
she talked to me about, hey, just gave me some no insight, like, hey, it ain't gonna be that tough. Each step that you go through is gonna get a little easier and a little easier. It's all a game. It's a mind game. It's all about breaking you down and building you back up. So just stick to your values and what you got to do, and just go through it. And that's what I did.
that's great advice. So you graduate AIT, and then where did you head from there?
I went to Fort Bliss.
Okay. And what'd you do at Fort Bliss?
And Fort Bliss, I learned my MOS, how to know
Uh-huh.
the stinger, and how it operates, and all that, the if and the all the logistics and everything, and how to identify enemy aircraft features, tank features. I had to know every enemy aircraft and tank that the U.S. uh deemed an enemy. And what's
Mhm.
weird is that how I remembered it, and just you can see shadows of it, and you can identify that aircraft. That's how good we had to be, because most time you sitting on a mountain range or a hillside, you only gonna see the silhouette. So that's what you had to identify aircrafts and tanks from before you have to take actions.
Yeah. So did they use like those little silhouette cards then as part of your training?
Cars, and like the little projectors, like
Yeah.
the old school projectors, like when the ones that you like, the disc that you put in, and then
Yeah.
and it spins and spins, yeah, like that.
Like a vacation slideshow.
Exactly, exactly.
Now how long was AIT?
AIT was 8 weeks.
Okay. And then you got your orders from AIT. Where'd you go from there?
I went from AIT to Fort Carson.
Okay. And now you were assigned to your unit then at Fort Carson?
Yes,
Okay. And what unit was that?
it was 1380A.
Okay. And so you're there, you're just kind of doing your thing. You're what, E2, E3 by now?
Oh, no, when I get there, I'm an E1.
Okay.
And of course, I know I meet Sid, and I meet Hick, but I'm a go-getter. And so, when I was 18, 19, I had my own team. I had a gunner that was younger than me. And
Uh-huh.
so I moved up the rank pretty quick. I think I was a PFC and he was a private. And 2 years back to back, we got top gun of the division. And we got to shoot like what they call live fire at our
Hmm.
simulated aircraft. It was like scaled down, like almost like I'm trying to see, what would it be like, almost like the no the army drones that they have, kind of the
Yeah.
big, but you're not too big. And we was able to my team was able to knock it out the sky both times in front of the no the chain of command, which was pretty cool. We got awards for it, and plats and stuff like that, so that was good.
Pretty cool at that age to be doing that kind of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and just having the responsibility of someone, even though I'm young, but
Mhm.
having someone else life in my hands, to teach and then to train, and to make sure their well-being is taken care of. So yeah, that was, I didn't think about it at the time, but I'm sure it was tough. But it was something that I had to do, and I just, did it, got it done.
Hmm. And pulling that team together, that's quite an accomplishment.
Oh
All
yeah, oh yeah.
my
And during that time, as I promoted, I went to different places to train, like National Guards. I've been to like California, Las Vegas, North Carolina, Louisiana, Iowa, Idaho. I travel a little bit in the States. Spent a year in Korea,
hmm
and once I came back from Korea, I kind of, I don't know why I did it, but I changed my MOS. I thought my MOS wasn't going anywhere, but I should have stuck with it. And I ended up changing my MOS to like 88 Mike, which is truck
Okay.
driver.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I spent 11 years in the Army myself, so
Okay, okay.
yeah, yeah. How long were you at Carson then?
I was in Carson for from 90 to 94 because I got my orders for a career in 95.
Okay, talk to me a little bit about Korea. How was that for you?
It was interesting, granted, I wasn't able to have my family there, so it was kind of a hardship. But the culture, just trying to get to people are so rude and always in a rush. That was hard to get used to. And you know, out of the year, like at least I think three times we was activated because of what the North was doing, and I just so happened one of my position was on the DMV, a DMZ, and
Yeah.
no, that was nerve wracking at times, but as far as the overall experience, it was great. I learned different food, learned to eat different foods. Just the cheap clothing that I could send back home, or just the atmosphere. Just you don't have no one around you. The people that you're with is your support system. Learning to lean on other people, for your well-being was, that was tough to do, but you kind of end up when you get in a routine, you do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now you were saying you couldn't bring your family with you. Are you married at this time?
Oh yeah, I was married.
Somehow I skipped that part.
I met my wife in 92
Uh-huh.
and we got married in 94, and I think we was married maybe wait December. We got married December of 1994, and March of 95 I had to head out.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, so about we were married about 4 months before I was gone, and we both was living our separate lives per se. We talked and wrote letters and stuff like that, but that was the biggest adjustment, man. It's just when you coming back, she was used to doing things her way, I was used to doing things my way, and just that like year or so when I got back, just trying to find each other again, and just that happy medium was a struggle, but we got there, and it just rolled from there.
Yeah. Now you still married?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Same woman,
congratulations.
31 years.
It's funny that, when you deploy overseas like that, that's a real test when you come back. A lot of marriages don't survive that
Exactly,
test
exactly.
because it's hard to leave, but I don't know. I found it more difficult to come home.
Exactly, exactly. It is. The leaving it is easy because you what you had to do, your mind frame, but then get back and deal with all the civilian and the family atmosphere. You can't be all hardcore straight up this way 24/7. You had to give and take and listen and reasoning and all that stuff. So yeah, it takes a lot more to it.
Oh yeah, because you get used to people just doing what you tell them to do, right?
Exactly,
And not
exactly.
asking
Or
a lot
or
of
being
why.
being told just following orders.
Right, right. Yeah. Doesn't work that way at home.
No, not at all.
There are no orders.
Exactly.
So you get back home and you start to get reintegrated. Now, where did you go from Korea?
I went to I went to Fort Hood.
That so judging by the look on your face, that was not your favorite place to be.
No, no, I was trying to go to Germany, cause
Yeah.
we always wanted to go to Germany. So I was trying to, go to Germany and take my family there for like eight, no, at least you can do 8 years with your family. But they sent me to Fort Hood, and before I went to Fort Hood, I changed my MOS to 88 Mike. Well, just so happened I got attached to a rapid deployment division. So
Hmm.
every time someone went somewhere, either training or whatever, a attachment from my unit had to go with them to either load them up for supplies and fueling and stuff like that. So I was gone. Oh my God. The 3 years I was there before I decided it was enough. I think out of a year, I was gone probably 6 months.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, of course, one of the times I got back, my wife was like, I can't do this anymore. She said,
Hmm.
"You're never here. The kids are growing up. They are wondering why you're never around, why you're not doing, doing no sporting events or nothing like that with them." She said, I really can't take it no more. And I was being getting unhappy because it's like, man, I'm never around my family. What was the point of coming here?
Yeah,
You could have kept me overseas for another year. And if that's the case, and
yeah,
so, like when we first met, I told her that, hey, as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm gonna continue to re-enlist and all that, but I will not let the army ruin my family. I would get out before that happened.
yeah. That makes sense. And you got
And
how many
then
kids?
so at one point I came and when I came back from some training, like I think it was like 3 weeks training, I told her, hey, I'm done. And of
Yeah,
course, she was nervous because she wanted me, home. But then just as knowing that to be exit from that security, that you're gonna get paid on the first and the 15th, no matter what. That's job that now the financial security was a struggle with her. And I told her, hey man, hey, I got you. This is my job to take care of my family. I'm gonna get out. I will get something, and I will take care of us. So don't even worry about it. And she was like, okay. She just held on to that, and so I end up getting out. Start working in a manufacturing that made valves for Ford, Chevy, and GM in Nebraska. And while I was going to working at night, I was going to school during the day from like 8 to 2 along with my kids go basketball, volleyball, and all that stuff. So I think for 5 years, I probably averaged about 3 hours of sleep a day. But I ended up graduating along with my daughter in like 2001 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and we had both got tired of all the snow and all that stuff. And I was like, "Hey, man, I'm done." She said, "Yeah, I'm done with all this cold too. I can't stand it." So I end up. She said she wanted to go move back to Texas, and so I end up applying for the job for the Travis County Sheriff, and they end up hiring me. And I went and do the interview, the background stuff, and then when they decided they was gonna give me the job, they told me, "Hey, you got 2 weeks before you start." So I had 2 weeks to move like a pretty much 4 bedroom house, 3 cars, and I had to get all that to Texas within 2 weeks. And but you know what? With my military, that drive, I got it done.
yeah. Well, the
I
88
came
Mike
down
paid
first,
off.
found us a spot to live in, me and one of my brothers, and I got back and we loaded everything up on the it's like it was one of the trailers, the traveling trailer. You load everything up and they haul it for you through
Hmm.
the military. And within 2 weeks, I was in Texas, starting my new career.
Wow, wow. So I want to pause there. That's a lot. So obviously the 88 Mike School paid off in this instance because you had to move. Um,
Right.
but is before we transition into your civilian career, is there anything else you want to share about your military time or any stories that we might have missed or anything in there that you wanted to talk about?
Oh man, so there's so many good memories in military with going no cause most of the time in Fort Carson when I went somewhere like we got deployed to NTC or what Garden what was it called Pinion Canyon and stuff like that. Me, Cedric, Hickerson, and Brian, we went on some point and just hanging out with them, during the training and stuff, and then coming back and just talking about, the experience and stuff like that, and just the things we did, the hanging out, the barbecuing, and just hanging out in the barracks, the fights that we had, and we had Hickerson. He was a barber, and we just always talk about how, like on the weekends when he used to cut our hair, he used to be so rough with us and charge us $3 to cut our hair, even though he's supposed to be our friend, and he wouldn't take no for an answer. And so we always reminisce on that about, hey, bro, hey Hickerson, you remember when you used to charge us, man, and we all was poor privates, and you charge us $3 for a haircut, and we had to clean up after ourselves. And so, like those memories, or when someone got too drunk that we had to carry back to the barracks, or someone threw up on themselves and we let them sleep in and laughed about it. Just those type of things, we reminisced about like that. But there was a lot of good times. There's time when we didn't want to go nowhere. We sat in the barracks and we played spades, had some drinks and just laughed. No, just stayed up to wee hours in the morning, just laughing and having a good time. You just like the camaraderie. That was the thing that we talk about the most. The times we spent together.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're still friends with those guys.
Absolutely. 30 plus years later. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, you were just on a cruise with a couple of them. So
Oh
that
yeah. Brian, Hickerson, Davis, and me. The four of us. What? It was like about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. We made a plan to go to the Army Navy game.
uh-huh.
And all of us met up with our wives. Hickerson wasn't married at the time. And man, we had such a good time that we made a pact, a vow, like, you know what, once a year, we're gonna take some time out of our schedule and we're gonna do something together. And so that's when we start cruising.
Uh-huh.
On Royal Caribbean. So each year we go on a Royal Caribbean cruise, all the four of us. No other family, is our friends involved, just us four with the wives. And we go and we have a hell of a good time.
Yeah. Well, now, so when you're all together like that, for you, like what's one story that you'll always bring up to them and you guys will just like laugh about it, or you'll be like, "Oh, I can't believe we got away with that." Like what's one thing?
Well, it was a bad story, but it's not. But it was a story that one day, the four of us, but Brian wasn't with us this time, but it was me, Ced, and Hickerson. We went out, and these guys just started trouble with us for no reason, and just telling the story about us fighting in that club, and then getting kicked out and going to another spot and just not forgetting what happened and just continue to enjoy ourselves. What happened during that time, how we took each other, had each other back in that moment and made sure we all got out of there okay.
Oh yeah. Did you guys win that fight?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Hello, my pups.
So now you're down in Texas and you've got a job with the sheriff's department. Now, did you have to go through their academy or anything like that when you started working for them?
Yes, I not, yeah, yes, it was a kind of a small academy. It was called Cobra, Correction, something, something, but it was like, oh, how long was it? It was like maybe 3 months, something like that. So
Hmm.
yes,
Okay.
and they
Talk
was
to me.
paramilitary.
Oh, yes. You probably a lot of familiar themes.
Yeah, I laughed about it because it's like, either you're the military, you're not. This paramilitary trying to be so gung ho. I said, it was a joke to me because I knew, 'cause being in the military and seeing what they was trying to do, and it's like, you guys are so far off. so far off. You shouldn't have even tried. So yeah, it was a joke to me. As far as them trying to get in your face and correct you and stuff like that, I kind of like pretty much like blew it off because I knew it wasn't nothing.
Hmm.
And of course I got through it and all that stuff.
Well, what attracted you to working for the sheriff's department?
The day was the first one to call.
Oh, so it wasn't like a dream of yours.
Nope. No, I didn't have no dream. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but
Uh-huh.
it actually worked out. I guess I'm built for public service and stuff. So because I got there and I worked in a jail for about 12 years, and then I went on patrol, and so I was in law enforcement for another 5, and just out in the community, just doing good and stuff like that, just handling business, which was great. And got to a point where I was like, I'm eligible to retire now. I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to call it a quits.
Yeah. Well, talk to me about your career in law enforcement, some of the things that you got to do. And I'm just curious, did you make some friends there like the friends you made in the military?
Oh, no, not even close. I have some good people that I talked to, that was cool and stuff like that, but the closeness, the camaraderie, like in the military, no, nothing like that. I got some guys I can and some females that I can say that we cool, we good friends. But as far as like best friends, like family, nah, I didn't meet anyone like that. Let's see. Correction was interesting, because you dealing with people at their worst.
Hmm.
And a lot of times, like the first 24 hours they're in, they either high or drunk on something. So, no, and so you got to deal with that mentality. And then once they actually sober up, then you got to deal with the manipulation and stuff like that they try. But I learned early that it's easier to start at 100 and slowly work your way down to 50% than to go from 0 to 100. So I was strict, no, 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 no. And once I got the unit working like I wanted to work and the respect I got, then I started giving a little bit, giving a little bit. And I never had any problem as far as anyone that's trying to assault me or anything like that. And so, yeah, no, there was like death in custodies and stuff like that, but you take that with with a grain of salt. As long as you do what you have to do, and you was on time doing your visuals and you did your checks, some things are out of your hand, because but then it's easy for someone if they're committed because it's not like a lot of time people gonna say, "Hey, I want to kill myself." No, the ones that are actually committed to it ain't gonna tell nobody. They're just gonna do it, and then there's gonna be that oh shit moment,
Right.
And there was a couple of those, and of course, you go through your IA investigation, and you did everything right, and this and this, your visuals was on time, and you move on from that, and I guess, and well, then which that was in that aspect, but in law enforcement, that was a lot more of that because. There was a lot of deceased person calls that I went on, and what was weird, I don't know, was it the military that helped me or just me myself? But I remember in training, my first call I went out on was deceased person, and I worked the scene, so I'm taking pictures and stuff like that, and then I look at the dude, and the first thing I thought to myself was, huh, it looked worse on TV. And
Yeah.
that was my thought. And I'm like, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can do this.
Hmm.
This is not that bad. And and of course, there's been other gruesome scenes that really did it. None of it had a toll on me. And I told my wife, I said, I'm grateful because I think what would have broke me if any one of those incidents would have had to do with a young kid,
Right.
because I love kids. So, these was adults, so I could departmentalize them and put them out in a box and not think of it again. I think if it was some young kid or something like that, I think it would have affected me more than anything. So, and I was grateful that I never ran across one of those scenes.
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, listeners, we need your help to keep the Veterans Archives podcast going. We're a nonprofit dedicated to preserving the stories of our nation's heroes, and we provide this service completely free to veterans. Your support helps us record, share, and archive these incredible stories so future generations never forget the sacrifices made for our freedom. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. Visit veteransarchives.org to contribute today. Help us honor their service by ensuring their voices are heard. And thank you for your support, and thank you to all the veterans who have served our country. Yeah, I can only imagine. So what do you think what are some of the lessons that you learned in the military that helped you in your civilian life?
Oh, my drive,
Uh-huh.
my determination, my integrity, just, your punctuality, being on time, on time is late, you know, early is on time, that mentality. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll get you far, really.
Oh, absolutely. And just, my determination to succeed.
Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like you kind of lived those Army values. They weren't just something on a poster.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I live those. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you spent how long in the military then?
10 years.
10 years and then 17 years with the sheriff's department. Could you buy your military time through the sheriff's
Yes.
department?
And
Okay.
that's what helped me retire, because out of the 10 years, they give you 5 years credit. So
Yeah.
once I put my 5 years toward my retirement, I met the rule of 75, which made me eligible to retire like last year sometime.
Uh-huh. You just
Yep.
recently retired though, right?
Yep, like about a week ago.
Yeah. How's that going?
It's going great. It's going great.
Yeah, every day Saturday, right?
That's right. That's right. Every day is Saturday, and I love it.
Now, do you think you'll do anything else, or are you going to just be retired and do whatever you want to do?
I'm gonna do pretty much do what I want to do. I'm not gonna just sit around and not do nothing. I'm gonna find something just to, kill time that I enjoy, like maybe substitute teach or something like that. But as far as putting a uniform on again, I think I'm done. I
Yeah.
told my wife, I said, man, most of my life has been in a uniform, having some odd hours and stuff like that. I think I'm done with it. I want to have some type of normalcy where I can come home at night. I can plan stuff on the weekends and stuff. It's amazing. 'Cause my wife just said, what, my first weekend, she was like, man, it is so great to have you home. We moved the bedroom furniture around. We cleaned that and stuff. I did stuff out of the yard. She's like, it's been 20 plus years for us to have some type of normalcy. She said, I was nervous at first. She said, but I think I'm really gonna like this.
Oh.
And that's what I feel too. It's like, it's all about enjoying. I don't know how much time I have left, but I just want
Mhm.
to enjoy it, being happy, stress free, spending time with my family.
Yeah. That's what it's about. That's why you work so hard, right?
Yep, exactly, exactly.
Well, now you mentioned that you're not going to put on a uniform again. So I'm just curious, what was that feeling like the last time that you put on that uniform and you knew this is the last time I'm putting on a uniform?
It was bittersweet. You kind of have you happy, but then you also have that, oh man, it's over.
Yeah.
You know, No, just no, not representing anything, because when I was in the military, the uniform, I represented the United States, and you put your best foot forward, you stand tall, you look good. And when I was with the sheriff department, I represented Travis County, so I had to stand tall, look good, what I say, how I do things, everything represented the sheriff department, so I had to be on point. And I no, and just saying like not having that, it was like a kind of like a weight off my shoulder, but then also was oh,
Yeah.
that's
Now
it's
what?
done.
Yeah. Yeah. And here you are.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, so we've covered quite a bit in our conversation. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to make sure that we get on this? Because, people will listen to your story. Maybe your family will take a listen to it. Is there anything in there you wanted to include that we haven't included?
Oh, as far as like you wanted to talk about Brian, you know, he, Brian was closer to said like my best friend
Uh-huh.
than I was to him because we only met each other like occasionally. We only recently got close like after the military because I knew of him, but I really didn't hang around with him. But I knew he was like kind of like me back in the day. He was a player. He was a ladies' man, but he was driven. He really didn't like the military because he had this mind frame that he wanted to do something bigger and better.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think after like a couple of years, after being in, he decided that he was gonna get out and he wanted to start his own business because he was always talking about a business this, business that. And he worked his butt off and he made it happen, which I'm over the moon for him. And the guy has a big heart. Like as you know, his heart
Yeah.
is as big as he is, and he would give his shirt off his back to anyone. And just all the guys that I really hang around with, that I call my brothers, are like that. I don't have to wonder if I'm in bad shape or need help. That neither either one of them will be there to like, hey man, what you need? And they know that each one of us is like that for them. So it's just this crazy, awesome bond that we have, this brotherhood that's it's unreal. And if anybody could have that, I wish the best for them if they can get it to hold on to it because sometimes these gentlemen treat me more better than my own family does.
Hmm.
You know, And like we always tell each other, no, family is not always blood.
Yeah. Yeah. Your friends are the family that you choose, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, if I reflect on this, like Brian's very successful. I don't know that he'll ever retire because he loves what he does.
I
And
think exactly.
and you've had really two successful careers and you're retired now. What about your other two friends? Like, are you guys all kind of in the same situation? Like everyone's successful and just kind of
Yeah.
enjoying life?
Yeah, pretty much. I think Brian is the most successful because he did the most hustling. My said, he's like a maintenance supervisor. I think he's close to retiring too. I got him set up with doing some VA stuff. Me, my law enforcement and military career. And then my other friend, he was like a jack of all trades. He used to be a beautician, hairdresser, clothing designer, and now I think he drive trucks. So he done it all. So I say it's for the most part, we all have been very successful. We've been blessed.
Yeah. Do you think any part of that, like, is that related to the fact that you all kind of have had each other's backs over the years?
Absolutely, absolutely. You knowing that, man, you only gonna fall so far. I would catch you. No, you
Hmm.
good. Don't even, no, don't worry about what you got to do. Just keep grinding, and whatever you got, whatever you need, we're here for it.
Okay. And then, another thing I wanted to ask you about was your kids. So you said that you graduated the same time your daughter did?
Yeah, I have two step kids and I have a
Uh-huh.
daughter, and they're Blake is 40, I'm 39, Brittany's 37, and LaJasmine's 37. So yeah, so when I was going to college, she was in high school.
Yeah.
The girls was in high school, so like we pretty much graduated at the same time.
Did you guys have like a graduation party?
Oh, absolutely. And then the funny thing was, well, when she was in school, when she went to college, I was like, "Hey, I'll pay for your tuition and your books, and if you know the sorority." I said, "But if there's any play money that you want to go out and this that, you're gonna have to earn that on your own." And the first thing she said was, "How am I supposed to go to school and work too?" And then I gave her a look, and she was like, "Okay, never mind." I said, "Exactly." I said, "Cause I did it." I said,
Yeah.
"So don't give me that nonsense. If you want it, you're gonna do it."
Yeah.
And
You're the
she
wrong
did
person
it.
to ask that question.
Uh-huh.
I said you're the wrong person to ask that question to, right?
Exactly. Exactly. I'm the wrong one. My wife always tell it, he ain't got no heart. I said, it ain't, I ain't got no heart. I just don't wear it on my sleeve.
Right. Right.
I'm not gonna be gullible to anything. No.
Well, and we all want our kids to do better than we did, at least,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So, I'm kind of thinking on the things that we've talked about, and think about where you came from, a trailer that was heated by a stove, and where you're at today, and where your kids are headed.
Oh yes.
How's that make you feel?
Proud. Proud because man, I'm the first one. Oh, wow.
It's okay. It's okay, man.
I'm the first one in my family to actually go to college and
Yeah.
graduate. No,
Yeah.
granted, all my brothers and sisters, they did good. But as far as to say, being a college graduate, me. Like I'm the
Yeah.
only one in my immediate family that ever went into the military. As far as law enforcement, I have a couple of brothers and sisters that have been in and out of jail, prison. I call myself the black sheep because, I've never seen any side of a jail besides work there, And I
Hmm.
always used to ask myself, what am I doing different than them? And then I realized that it's like, you know what? I'm not lazy. The army taught me not to be lazy and look for easy money. And that
Right.
was the difference between me and them. And I tell them, I love you to death, but guess what? I would never spend my hard-earned money bailing you out because of some stupid stuff that you did. I refuse to. And they knew how I stood on that from day one. And so if any one of them got in trouble, they didn't call me. As far as the actual money, they called me and let me know what was going on. I called, gave them my support. I know some legal advice if I had it, but other than that, that was that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people need tough love.
Oh, absolutely. I believe in it. I definitely believe in it.
Yeah, I think especially with kids, right? It's a lot easier to be tough on them when they're 5
That's
than it is
right.
to be tough on them when they're 16.
Yep. Oh, I was tough on them when they were 16 too. My daughter, I think she was either between 16 and 13. And what she used to do is she used to make these agreement with my wife. Hey, mom, if you let me go here today, I won't ask the rest of the weekend. And then she let her go. And then that week, the next day come around, then she start bugging her and bugging her. And of course, my wife gets tired of it. And she said, well, just go, Brittany. Just go. And so after the second time, I said, I tell you what, the next time she want to work out something, she comes to me. She don't deal with you anymore. And so she came to me, hey, Dad, hey, if you let me go hang out with such and such to this today, I'm not gonna ask no more this weekend. I was like, okay, cool. You got it. And so, of course, she tried to play the same shit with me. No. And I said, no. But that ain't fair. Blah, 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 blah. I said, no, what's not fair is you giving your word on something and try to take it back. I said, you're not going anywhere. You can either come out here and hang out with us or take your ass in the room. And so she stormed off in the room and she slams her bedroom door. I say, I walk off in there. I say, listen up, little girl. I say, you slam that door again, I'm gonna take it off the hinges. She huff and puff and I walked out. And then I went back out and joined my wife on the couch. We was watching the show, and then she came, got something to drink, and then she went back in the room and she slammed the door. I looked at my wife, and my wife gave me the oh shit, it's on, right? And so I went to the garage, grabbed a hammer and a screwdriver, went to her bedroom door. Bing, 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 bing. And she was like, what are you doing? Don't worry about what I'm doing. I grabbed her damn door off the hinges, set it in our room, and the first thing she said was, well, how am I supposed to get dressed? There's a bathroom. Well, I ain't got no privacy. This is my house. You don't need privacy. You're the child. I kept the door from her for a week. After a week, she come to me crying and stuff. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I said, listen, I said, let me tell you something. This is a lesson I'm trying to teach you. I said, people can take a lot of shit away from you, but they can't take your word. If you give somebody your word, you stand by it. Because if you don't have that, you don't have nothing.
Yeah. Well, in Daryl, you gave her your word that you would take that door off if she slammed it again.
Absolutely. And and
Yeah.
and what and that's what I did.
Yeah. That is
And I
some tough
told her,
love.
I said, there's nothing I've never told you guys that I would do that I haven't done. Because
Hmm.
if I have any doubt that I think I can't do it, I'm not gonna give you my word on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she's successful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got two grandbabies, and they some pain in the ass sometimes, but I love them to death.
So I'm going to ask you this. Like, I experienced this for the first time when my granddaughter came to visit because my son lives in Alabama.
Okay.
Um, but they came up for a couple of days, maybe a week or whatever. But they left on Saturday morning, and when they left, like I couldn't even get off the couch.
Oh,
So exhausted. It was,
yes. I have. Well, at least yours can go to a different state.
yeah.
Mine live right around the corner, a couple of blocks away. And just so happened this last week, uh, my daughter was and her boyfriend and the oldest was going to I want to say Gainesville, something like that. And then the baby was like, I don't want to sit in the car for 2 hours. Can I go to Pop and Gigi? And of course, my daughter called. Was like, yeah. I said, yeah, he can come over. That's all good. This little dude, he's a talker. He talks from the time he gets here and to the time he leaves. And so he's playing a game and he's talking because I was watching football, but he wanted to play the game. So I let him play the game on the TV. I'm trying to watch it on my computer. And he papa, 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 papa. And so at midnight I go downstairs and I go to my wife. I'm like, oh my God, this kid would not shut the hell up. And she started laughing. I'm like, that's not fair. I said, you down here chilling. He wants to be around me, and all I hear is pop, 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 pop. But then when he leave, it's like you said, it's so quiet. It's like, damn, I missed that little asshole.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Exactly. As a former soldier myself, I find this is really weird. I like to be alone, but I don't like to be lonely.
Right.
You know, like you're like, oh, I can't wait to be in this house by myself. And then everybody leaves. And you're like, oh, damn, I wish someone was here.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah. You want to be alone, but you say you don't want to be alone. You want to be able to go in your own space and in your own, and just your own zen, but you want to be someone to be there. Like when you get tired of that, be like, hey, what's up? You want to go hang? Yeah, you want
Yeah.
somebody there. And that's
Yeah.
what I got, really honest, because I have a media room which is where I'm at now. And my wife, she watched a lot of stuff. We watched two different shows, even though the shows she watched now are the shows I used to watch. But ever since I went into law enforcement, I can't watch them anymore because
Yeah.
the reality and that it doesn't match up. I can't stand it. But then if there's a commercial break and I'm like, "Hmm, I miss her. I want to go bug her. I go downstairs, and I can tease her and stuff like that, get on her nerve, and I can run back upstairs."
Yeah,
And so,
exactly.
yeah, I definitely get that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, we've talked about a lot of stuff. We've covered a lot of your life in our conversation today. I think as we kind of wrap this up, I always ask a final question, and that is, if someone's listening to this story 100 years from now, and we're both not here, but they're hearing your story, what what lesson would you like to leave for them? What would you like them to take away from how you've lived your life?
That man, I did my part to keep my country safe, and I lived every day like it was my last.
That's good. Well, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for spending some time with me this evening. I've really enjoyed getting to know you.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was great talking to you. It was wow. It was an eye opener. I enjoyed this a lot.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Veterans Archives podcast. We truly appreciate you taking the time to listen and honor the incredible stories of our nation's heroes. Don't forget, you can catch us every Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Wreaths Across America Radio, or stream past episodes anytime on Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and as I've said before, any place you can find a podcast, you can find the Veterans Archives podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share our content on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and across all social media. Every share helps us reach more people and preserve more stories. The Veterans Archives podcast is a nonprofit initiative, and our mission is simple: to give veterans a voice and ensure their stories are never forgotten. This service is completely free for veterans because their sacrifices deserve to be recognized and remembered. You want to help? Follow us, spread the word, and if you know a veteran with a story to tell, send them our way. Visit us at veteransarchives.org to learn more about how you can get involved. Thanks again for tuning in, and most importantly, thank you to all the veterans and their families for their service and sacrifice. Until next time, take care, and we will see you on the next episode of the Veterans Archives Podcast.